Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan here with MJS Coaching Football. My background is my 38th year coaching football, and I've either been a defensive, offensive, and special teams coordinator as well as a head coach at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about one of our prisoner games, which is a four-man pass rush line stud that we call Spider. So, like other previous prisoner games, the Lucky Ring goes to the Rover, and the Rover's all excited, yay, because he's part of the pass rush. Again, if you go to my 3-4 base playlist, it talks about disguise. Are we rushing 3, 4? If it is 4, who's the 4? All that stuff. So this is in line with just the basic premise of our self-adjusting defense. So what Spider's all about, honestly, hence the name, it's it's the Rover. The Rover is the only read guy in terms of going butt side. And the other three, as you see, they're all in green. The end nose and the stud, they are stabbing and climbing, baby. Stab and climb, stab and climb. Like get up the web, right? Um, and so let me just first talk about the read of the Rover, which is pretty simple. But then why we would utilize Spider is the big part of this presentation. So the Rover, it's a read. So the tight end is going to try and release. If the tight end were to stay in the protection, he's going to get hands to protect himself. So he'll just out of habit will shoot hands, but hands as he looks in at the offensive tackle. Okay, so we're assuming that this is a passing situation and the tendencies of the opponent, 11 personnel, say they're looking to pass and we'll run this. Doesn't matter if it's long, medium, if there's a tendency on 3rd and 2 or 3 to throw it, right, a hitch or whatever. Okay, as well as draws, screens, etc. Even if they're just going to run a zone read, okay, to try and get something back and then punt the football, we'll execute this. So let me get to the Rover. Again, shoot the hands looking at the tackle. If the tackle is to him, if he opens up to him, then he loops B to A, which means he's cutting in front of his face, reading the guard. And if the guard's facing him, he's going to be in the A gap. If the guard is either square or looking in at the nose, so he's butt side, then he's going to be in B gap. And that's it. Boom, done. So he's not getting he's not getting up the field or anything like that unless the offensive tackle is away from him. Then he's going to speed rush. Okay? Then he's going to speed rush. More often than not, the tackle opens to him. But in the off chance he opens away from him, then he just speed rushes. Hence why there's a dash line outside and why there's a couple of lines, again, B to A. Okay? And that's it. Now, the stab technique, I mean, they're just stepping at the toe and they're getting vertical. So they're going through the inside, in this case, the inside of the tackle. In this case, the near side of the center. The center's in the middle of everything. And over here, he's really ripping through the outside of the tackle. So he's not necessarily looking to not have any engagement. In fact, he's going to have a lot of engagement. So he's got to defeat the hands and all that. And the reason being, remember what I said, this team might run his own read, try to get some of it back and punt the football. Well, now he is quarterback defender, and it should be a give. Okay, it should be a give. So this is a maybe, yes, but this linebacker base rule, because he's not blitzing, he's static. So he'd be quarterback, this stabbing C-gap defensive end, and the inside linebacker would be static. Okay? So essentially, all three defensive linemen go away from the call. So in the Lucky, they all stab the gap away from the call. So obviously to the right. And if the Rover was right, so Ringo, they'd all stab the gap to the left, one gap. So why would we call Spider? Well, besides the other scenarios I've already presented to you, another reason, if it was in a definite long yardage passing situation where the team has a tendency to get, longer developing pass play down the field, the reason we would call this is if we had a decided speed advantage and or athletic advantage. There are times where the offensive line, they don't have the best footwork. They might not have real good hips. They might not be overly agile. Maybe they're great run blockers, but they're not terrific pass blockers. They lean forward, they lead with their head, all those things. This is why we run it, because when they stab these three, they are shot out of a cannon. So this is a spider's a call where we might, if we need to, we're going to substitute guys. These are going to be pass rush guys. Okay, and if you have that capability, awesome. If you need to take a linebacker, an inside linebacker, 200, 215, whatever, put them there. Teach them how to rip up the field. Okay, but that's why we do it, because we have a decided speed or athletic advantage. And so even if a team runs a zone read or runs a draw or decides to just run a trap play, to get some yardage and then punt the football, these guys are going to make stuff happen because they're so quick, and they're going to take advantage of the lack of quickness, agilities, footwork, agilities, all that stuff. Then that's why we call it spider, pure and simple. So as you analyze your opponents, watch their feet, and have your defensive line coach evaluate the footwork and or the athleticism, the agility, the speed. Do they have good hips, or are they very slow? All those things that go into pass protection, pass blocking, to see if you have a reason to run spider. And that's why we run it. Okay? So as always, please, any questions about trio, see my Zone Blitz coverage playlist. Any questions at all about, excuse me, stab techniques or anything like that beyond this, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com. And I just love to talk football with you.